Hello everyone, welcome back to Path of Exile 1. If you've been on a vacation playing Path of Exile 2, or even Frisia, then I got some build for you guys to try out. The first build that we'll be looking at is the one and only Old Man Crucifant's Ice Nova of Frostbolt Archmage Hierophant. This build turns mana into madness, using the Archmage support gem to fuel some serious elemental mayhem. Is tankier than you'd expect, has excellent clear speed, and absolutely melts bosses. As long as you're paying attention, this old man can carry you through the endgame with ease. Now let's talk about what makes this build tick, starting with Kitava's Thirst. This unique helmet is mandatory. It gives us the chance to automatically cast sacred spells every time we use a skill that costs at least 100 mana, which, thanks to Archmage, happens constantly. Into Kitava's Thirst, we slot Frostbolt, which is our trigger engine, linked to either Greater Volley or Greater Multiple Projectiles. This let us fire out multiple Frostbolts that acts as anchors for our Ice Novas. Alongside those, we also socket Punishment and Enfeeble, both reducing overall damage from our enemies, giving us a nice defensive layer. But casting multiple curses like this isn't normally allowed, which is where Anathema Ring comes in. This Moonstone Ring is another required piece for this build. It increases your curse limit to match your maximum number of power charges. This synergizes to the Hierophant's Conviction of Power Ascendancy skill. Conviction of Power grants 4 minimum power charge and 4 minimum endurance charges, as well as an extra maximum charge for both, letting us run multiple curses without needing special jewels or corrupted items. Simple, clean, and powerful. Our next core item is Cloak of Defiance, a body armor that boosts our mana pool and mana regeneration. Both are crucial for our damage scaling through Archmage. It also grants us Mind Over Matter, a mechanic that redirects 40% of incoming damage to mana instead of life. We take this a step further by investing into Divine Guidance from the Hierophant Ascendancy, which pushes an additional 10% of damage to mana, giving us a solid mana buffer that makes us surprisingly durable. Socketed into Cloak of Defiance is our main spell setup. Ice Nova of Frostbolts, which is linked to Archmage support, Spell Echo, faster casting, increased critical damage, and inspiration. Ice Nova will trigger around each of the Frostbolt cast from our helmet, creating a storm of explosive cold and lightning damage. Archmage support is the core of our damage scaling, adding lightning damage based on how much unreserved mana we have. Spell Echo and faster casting work together to increase our casting speed, letting us unleash Novas rapidly. Increased critical damage boosts our crit multiplier, while Inspiration helps us maintain critical strike chance and reducing the mana cost of casting, which is crucial when we're spending hundreds of mana per cast. To further scale our mana, and by extension our damage, we'll be using Atsiris Foible. This unique amulet is a huge power spike for our build, providing a hefty chunk of both flat and percentage-based mana, along with increased mana regeneration rate. It's a straightforward but powerful piece that fits our scaling perfectly. On top of that will be Anointing Mind Drinker. This passive gives us a reliable source of mana sustain by recovering 2% of our mana every time we defeat an enemy, enabling us to spam Ice Nova non-stop. Once everything is set up, the result is a rhythmic cascade of ice nova swirling around waves of frostbolts, all scaled by an enormous mana pool. It looks chaotic, and it is, but it's chaos with purpose. When it's rolling, it feels like magic because everything just clicks. Our shield of choice is Svalin. Svalin Girded Shield is currently one of the most overpowered items in 3.25. Its core mod Chance to Block is Lucky allows the game to roll block chances twice, taking the better result. This massively improves our effective block rate, turning even moderate block stats into strong, reliable defense. To top it off, Svalin triggers a socketed elemental spell automatically whenever we block, with a short cooldown. In this setup, we socket Shock Nova, Sigil of Power, and Wave of Conviction, each chosen for specific synergy with our build. Shock Nova helps apply consistent AoE damage and can shock enemies, increasing the damage they take. Sigil of Power provides a stacking damage boost and reduces enemy damage inside its area, giving us both offense and mitigation. Wave of Conviction is used to apply exposure, reducing enemy resistances and further amplifying our elemental damage. Together, they create a defensive trigger engine that turns every block into an offense and supportive reaction. For our second ring slot, we got some flexibility. We can either use a diamond ring for more critical strike chance, or an amethyst ring for more chaos resistance. The main thing to look for are strength and dexterity, followed by mana, life, and resistances. Next up is our belt, another utility slot that helps round out our stats. This is where we patch up any missing strength, dexterity, or resistances. We have two solid choices here. A crystal belt offers a chunk of energy shield which helps buffer our survivability. On the other hand, a Stygian Vice is great if we want the flexibility of socketing an Abyssal Jewel, which can add more mana, cast speed, or even additional utility stats depending on what our build needs. Both are strong options, so we pick based on what our character is missing most. Moving on, our glove serves another utility slot where we prioritize mana, life, and resistances. In addition to these core stats, it's essential that we aim for Eldritch implicit modifiers, specifically unnerve enemy on hit for increased damage output and lightning damage leech as life or sustain. Similarly, our boots needs to have at least 25% movement speed along with stats, mana, life, and resistances. For Eldritch modifiers, we look for life regeneration and increased action speed, both of which add to our overall survivability and smoother gameplay. On our gloves and boots, we continue layering in utilities through gem setups that enhance both our damage and defense. In our gloves, we run Arcane Cloak, linked to automation and increased duration support. Here, we also link a Portal Gem for the extra quality of life touch. In our boots, we finish off our curse setup. This is where we socket Arcanist Brand, linked to Elemental Weakness, Conductivity, and Assassin's Mark. With this, we can get a rotating curse engine that applies 3 powerful debuffs automatically, all while we focus on movement, positioning, and casting novas. Now let's move on to our wand. We got two great options here, Void Battery and a well-crafted, rare Profane Wand. Void Battery is a tried and true classic, perfect for power charge stacking builds. It grants increased spell damage per power charge and give us an extra maximum charge on top of that. Alternatively, a well-crafted Profane Wand with the right rolls can outscale Void Battery. What we're looking for here are juicy modifiers like plus to level of all spell skill gems, increased cast speed, high spell damage, and flat lightning damage to spells. Here, we will socket more utility gems. We will socket Frostblink of Winter Blast, which allows us to blink non-stop with effectively low cooldown. We also slot in Purity of Elements, linked to Eternal Blessing, giving us a free aura that grants complete elemental ailment immunity and boosts to all resistances. This combo frees us from relying on ailment avoidance gear and ensures smooth, uninterrupted casting even under pressure. Now let's talk about jewels. For this build, we're running multiple unique jewels that provide powerful boosts to both survivability and damage. The first is Watcher's Eye, and we're specifically looking for the mod that grants a percentage to chaos resistance while affected by purity of elements. This gives us a big chunk of chaos resistance, which helps fill in a common defensive gap without needing to change our gear. Next is the Red Nightmare, socketed on the left side of the tree near the Endurance and Power Charge clusters. This jewel gives us block chance per fire and elemental resistance within its radius, which supplements our already high block setup from Svalin. We will also use Healthy Mind Cobalt Jewel that turns life nodes in its radius into mana nodes. We socket this at the bottom of the Scion area, where several life nodes can be converted into a large pool of mana, giving us a significant boost to our Archmage scaling without needing to travel far on the tree. We also include an Unnatural Instinct, which we socket on the left side of the Scion area. This location contains several useful small passive nodes, such as Maximum Mana, Area of Effect, and Cast Speed, all of which are granted passively by the jewel without needing to be allocated. It's an efficient way to gain multiple minor benefits in a single slot. We also run a Glorious Vanity Timeless Jewel, specifically one influenced by Doriani and conquered by Deval. This jewel grants us the Corrupted Soul Keystone, which splits incoming damage between life and energy shield, giving us a bit of a hybrid resilience that fits surprisingly well with our mana-focused defenses. On top of that, it transforms nearby passives into a Val-themed alternatives. What we're really hoping to find here are rolls that grants cast speed, maximum mana, lightning damage, or spell damage. The exact result will vary depending on the seed, so this one takes some trial and error. Moving on to the flask, we'll be using a well-rounded setup that supports both defense and offense. Our baseline includes Rumi's Concoction for bonus block chance, a Diamond Flask to boost critical consistency, Cinder Swallow Urn for recovery and damage, a Silver Flask for increased damage and life regen, and a Series Promise for extra chaos resistance and elemental as chaos conversion. If our budget allows, we can upgrade further, replacing Sulfur Flask with Bottled Fate for a huge critical damage spike and Consecrated Ground, and swapping a Series Promise to Progenesis to gain powerful damage mitigation via life recovery on damage taken. These options offer a noticeable power boost if we're looking to push the build even further. Now let's move on to the passive tree and path of building. The POB has been carefully set up to guide progression through key level brackets: level 30, 50, 60, 80, 95, and 100. This breakdown gives a clear picture of how our skill tree evolves throughout the campaign and into Endgame. In this section, I want to focus on how to properly set up our Ice Nova Frostbolt on POB. On the skill tab in POB, it's important to simulate the true damage output of Ice Nova Frostbolts accurately. The number of Frostbolt projectiles plays a major role in how many Ice Novas overlap and hit the target, dramatically increasing our effective DPS. The more Frostbolts we have, the more Novas will overlap and multiply the total damage output. With 5 Frostbolts fired per cast, we trigger 5 Novas effectively. Adding Spell Echo doubles this number by repeating the cast automatically, resulting in 10 total Novas per use. Because of this, we want the count value in POB 10, 5 from the initial cast and 5 from Spell Echo. This adjustment better reflects the real in-game performance where our Novas rapidly overlaps and detonate around multiple Frostbolts. It might seem like small detail, but properly tweaking this setting shows the full destructive potential of the Old Man Crusty Pants build, and trust me, it's more impressive than the POB displays by default. Hierophant Ascendancy allows us to gain massive amounts of mana, mana regeneration, power and endurance charge, and area of effect. Divine Guidance gives us a massive amount of mana, damage, and mana buffer. This is then complemented by other mechanics from our gear and passive tree, but here in the Ascendancies, it is particularly synergistic with Sanctuary of Thought and Arcane Blessings. Sanctuary of Thought provides area of effect and extra energy shield based on mana, both offensive and defensive. Arcane Blessing provides Arcane Surge, which gives mana regeneration and cast speed. Mana regeneration is particularly helpful as we use mana as buffer for damage. Additionally, this ascendancy gives more spell damage while affected by Arcane Surge. Lastly, Conviction of Power provides Endurance and Power Charge. Endurance Charge provides physical and elemental reduction, while Power Charges provide critical chance. Additionally, Power Charge combined with Anathema Ring increases our curse limit, providing both utility and damage. And that's it from our good old man Crassipants build. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. POB is on the description, and stay crusty.